and welcome to our monthly video. Today we're going to show you how to use a Creative Grids template to make, guess what, masks. Should come as no surprise. The whole world is now wearing them, we're all getting used to them, so why not make our life a little easier? We always say that when we have the correct tools, things go way smoother. And I'm just going to show you two little tools to make these masks that will make the process of sewing these really quick, easy, and smooth. As you can see in the template, there's a curve there and there's a curve there. This template's still in the plastic. So the best thing to cut a curve with is a smaller blade. This is normally the size that we use in quilting, but the rotary cutter makers actually make three sizes of cutters and blades. The smallest one is an 18 millimeter, the medium size is the 28 millimeter, and the one that we use in quilting is the 45 millimeter. And that refers to the size of the blade. So it's a 45 millimeter blade, a 28 millimeter blade, and an 18 millimeter blade. So when you're looking at your template that's got two curves, it's hard to see. The easiest one would be the smallest one. So for the purposes of our little demonstration today, I'm going to use the smallest one so you can just see how much easier it makes it rather than using the larger size. So if you look at the template, I'll just put this down. This template is designed for a small mask, a medium mask, and a large mask. And what you will do to determine what size you're going to use, if you want to make a small, which is the size that I have made and that I wear, so I think if you're a lady, then a small would fit most people. A medium would be for a little larger face, and larger would be for the largest face. So you can determine, do a test and see which one fits you the best. So you can see that the template has the curves, it has the small, the medium, and the large. And then there's also a little mark, because we're going to pleat the side of these so they're going to fit really snugly. All right, so I'm going to make a small one today. We're going to put our template down, and I've squared up my little piece of fabric, so I'm lining up the template here. My dotted line is at the small there and the small there. The size of the curve does not change, just the size that you make the rest of the mask. So I'm using small, you can use medium, or you can use large. So I'm going to make a small one today, and I'm going to use our smallest blade. But I'll just show you, if we take this blade and we try to get in here, you can see this curve is quite a pronounced curve. So if you try to go through there, you're going to hear some creaking and it's going to hit the plastic not as good as it could. So with our little blade, and it is like all the other cutters, that's locked, that's unlocked, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my blade down, and you see how it just rides that curve so nicely. Then I'm going to come to there, and I'm going to I've got my blade against the template, and there we go. So there's our perfect little template, and we've used the smallest cutter, which is the 18 millimeter. You can use all three, but like I say, sometimes when you use the correct tools, it makes your project a whole lot easier. We know we're making lots of masks these days, so if this interests you and you want to use this, I would suggest getting a cutter, and I will have the small and the medium and the large in stock. I've got an order coming in shortly. Supplier is still a little short on these, but they're getting a little better. So we've showed you how to cut it. Now we can set our template aside, and I've got one prepared already. So to make the mask, you need 2 pieces for the front. You need 2 pieces for the back. And all important, you need a filter. The government is suggesting the 3rd layer, the filter, and the filter blocks the droplets from going from this side of the mask to the outside of the mask. So you just need two of these. So one template for the filter, one template for the front, one template for the back. I'm using the same fabric, so I just cut two. If you were using a different fabric, then this would be one fabric, this would be the next. So we've got all of our materials ready to go. And what we're going to do is, they've got the pattern instructions on the inside. This little piece of paper gives you the instructions on how to make it. But if you're not familiar, what we're going to do is, with right sides together, we are going to sew this large curve here and this large curve here. And if you get a little confused as to which one you're sewing, just open it up and you'll see, oh, that's what I want my mask to look like once it's sewn. So it's the larger curve that you're going to sew. Using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, we're going to sew this down, we're going to sew this, and we're going to sew our filter together, all using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then we'll come back. As you can see, we've sewn our pieces together. So we've sewn our our front, our back, and our filter. And I just want to talk a little bit about the filter. What the product that you want to use when using a filter is the current recommendation is a product called polypropylene, or if you can't find that product, you can use a non-woven product. And what both of those do is they protect you from the droplets going from one side of your mask to the outside of your mask. If you just used another layer of cotton is a weave, which means there's tiny little holes in between the north, south, and the east, west. So the recommendation is that you use a man-made product, which is a non-woven or polypropylene, to prevent those droplets from escaping. So for our project here today, we're using a non-woven product that we carry in the store. So we've pinned everything. Now we're just going to add our elastic. Here's regular elastic. This is just 1/4 inch white elastic. Or I do have on order these little elastic straps that make the job much easier and make fitting the mask much easier. It feels almost like a t-shirt material, so it's almost like a jersey, but you can see that it stretches. And this little toggle allows you to adjust how loose or how tight you want your mask to be. So sometimes it's hard to guess if it's going to fit perfectly. They suggest between 6 and 7 inches of regular elastic, but these have some give and they have a toggle, so they're going to fit perfectly. So what we're going to do with this is we just want to make sure that we're inserting our elastic in between our two layers of fabric. Okay, so in between the front and the back. And what we're going to do, I'll just unpin this for you, is what we're going to do is we're going to put one piece there and put a little pin. And we're going to take the other piece and we're going to put it there. You see, I haven't done it right at the bottom because we're going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance and we don't want to catch that in our seam allowance. We do on the side where it's going to hold, but not along the top and the bottom. So I'm just going to put a pin in there. I'm going to put that over. I'm going to sew. So now you see we've got, and I'll do this on the other side. So we've got our little elastic tucked in between the front and the back. We've got our filter. It's all pinned. I'm ready to sew it. When I sew it, I'm going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around. I'm going to leave an opening so we can turn this inside out. So I'll do our stitching and we'll come back and we'll show you the almost finished project. All right, so here we are. We've sewn our mask together. We've got our little opening here that we're going to sew closed when we do our little top stitching around. But the last thing we're going to do is we're going to make our little pleat. There was a little pleat on the template. And so we're just going to, it's just a very simple, this is the top of your mask. You can see the flat part is the bottom. And we're just going to just make a little pleat like that and put a pin in it. We'll do this on both sides. And then the last step in your mask is to top stitch around 1/8 of an inch, and you'll sew your opening where you turned it inside out. You'll sew that closed. We'll put our little dart in here on this side. Put a pin in it, just go around it. I will top stitch this and we'll come back and show you the finished project. So here's our mask all finished. There's our pleat, there's our pleat, there's our elastics. We've done our top stitching and we can put it on, and then we'll adjust our little elastic straps so that this fits us exactly as we want it to be. Give it a tug like that. So this is a size small, just so you see. All right, thanks very much. Enjoy making these. If you're interested in the little rotary cutter, we've got those. And if you're interested in the template, we've got those at the store. We're waiting for more elastic to come in, but we do have the 1/8 and the 1/4 inch. Just give us a call or email us or pop in, and we'll try and help you out with all your mask requirements. Thanks.